What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. We're back here with another realistic rebuild, as today we have the Los Angeles Lakers, who find themselves in a very interesting situation, especially Rob Pelinka, who this really has kind of passed on doing anything lately, and they're in a little bit of a tough spot. I'll explain more why I think that in just a second. Let's go to jump in and do a Los Angeles Lakers realistic rebuild in NBA 2K25. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. And this is the last Lakers rebuild we did. I said I was going to do two parts, and I totally failed. Over the weekend, I accidentally deleted the file, which is why there was never part two to it, unfortunately. But here we are again doing the Lakers realistic side of things, because we've already done 20 realistic rebuilds, which is kind of wild. The series has kind of flown by. So we have 10 left to do, and then we'll move on to something else as usual. So the reason why I think the Lakers are in a tough spot, because to be honest with you guys, this ship on this team winning a championship might just be sailed, man. It really might be. I'm not really sure there's a single trade the Lakers can make that's going to make them a contender overnight this season. You know, LeBron and AD, they just have their issues, man. It is what it is. LeBron is at the age of 39. You really can't rely on him too much at this point. Anthony Davis, you know, just is hit or miss sometimes. Dalton Connect has been incredible, so you have to feel good about that draft pick. Well, I do think the Lakers will make a move at the deadline. Finally, I think Rob Pelinka has kicked the can down the road a couple times too many times. But I think they'll finally do something if I had to guess. If they don't, then things are really weird. But I can understand Rob Pelinka's perspective of not wanting to do anything, because you only have you only have so many draft picks, and LeBron is 39, right? Like, you don't want to trade a really valuable pick in the future, and then it leads to nothing. With that being said, I still think Pelinka will probably end up doing something at the deadline if I had to guess. So we're going to go ahead and start there in this video. So we're going to submit to the trade deadline, see how the team is doing, and do want to look at shot tendencies as well. I've really noticed that start today specifically, shot tendencies are extremely low for a lot of players. I don't know why that is. Like Brunson's, must be a glitch. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I noticed it yesterday in the Celtics video. And I just did a short on the Bucks where Giannis's shot tendency was really low too. Maybe that's just not even start today. Like, look at that, 75 shot tendency. Like, what the hell is this, man? This is weird. So maybe if I, by adjusting these shot tendencies, that'll help a little bit. So we'll start there. We'll move AD's obviously up to like a 90, because he obviously needs to be the main scorer here. And LeBron James can go up to like an 80. Dalton Connect can be like a 70. And then Austin Reeves can be like a 75 or something like that. So probably roll with that. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why it's like that. Maybe it's just a glitch, or maybe that's just how 2K has their shot tendencies this year. No idea. But I will see you guys at the deadline to see how we're doing as a roster. And oh yeah, here's the rotation, of course, as well. So Reeves, Connect, Rui, LeBron, AD. You guys know what it looks like. All right. See you at the deadline. Today's video is brought to you by Daily Grind Fantasy's Optimizer. If you play on apps such as PrizePicks, Underdog, or any of these other popular DFS apps, having a tool like this is insanely clutch to have, finding good plays right in front of you without having to do zero research whatsoever, or little to no research. So as you can see, we actually have some pretty good value on the board. I guarantee you these are both gone though. CJ McCollum under 29.5 PRA. As you can see, Pinnacle has this at 26.5, and so does most of the field. So Underdog's down to 26.5. This probably comes with the Brandon Ingram news, and PrizePicks was very slow to react to it, which is why there's this clear discrepancy on the board right now. I guarantee you, if we refresh, as you see, McCollum under 20.5 points as well. But Ingram is available, which is why I'm assuming these lines are coming down. But if you click the refresh button, if I can click it with my left hand, they're gone. So as you can see, they didn't last long because they're clear value on PrizePicks that they didn't want you to see. But you can't find those without having a software like this. If you want to check out our Daily Grind Fantasy, link is down in the description below. Use code Crushables, 25% off your first month. Also, make sure to check out PrizePicks. They give you $50 when you deposit $5 or play $5 or something like that. Use code Crushables on that as well. Other than that, let's get back to the rebuild. So here's my insanely bold prediction that's going to happen at the deadline for the Los Angeles Lakers. I ultimately think they're going to trade for Kyle Kuzma. I think he'd probably be just the cheapest option to get, and obviously there's some familiarity there with the Lakers already. He won a championship there, and he'd be a nice little boost. He's not having that great of a season, so honestly, if you're the Lakers, you might be able to get away with trading a couple seconds to make it happen, but we're not throwing Anthony Davis in here, but I do think at the end of the day, it would cost you at least one first if I had to guess. So I'm going to throw our 2028 first round pick in here for Kyle Kuzma. There's going to be guys like Jeremy Grant as well, but I do think Rob Pelinka will at least do something to kind of show that he's trying something. This is what we're going to do, and we get Kyle Kuzma on the team. Is that going to change the whole future? Probably not, if I had to guess. I do inevitably think this team or this rebuild today is going to turn into a rebuild. We're going to move Kuzma to small forward so he goes up to his best available best available overall for us. But that will give us to an Austin Reeves connect, Kuzma, LeBron, AD starting 5 with Rui, Vanderbilt, Max Christie, and Christian Wood off the bench. We'll probably just run a 9-man rotation as well. But yeah, that is what we're rolling with. So Kuzma is the big addition at the deadline. How much will that help? Well, I guess we'll find out. So shot tendencies, Kuzma shot tendencies a 70. We can push that up, to a 77 or something along the lines of that. So 26 and 24. Will Kuzma be the answer for a championship? Probably not. But at least Pelinka will show, hey, I tried something. Because he's been very stagnant the last couple opportunities he's had to do something. So let's look at the rest of the season. Let's see if Kuzma helps us at all, or if this is just about to be a dud season, regardless of what we did. So at the end of the season, Jokic wins MVP, Jerry McCain's your Rookie of the Year, Amin Thompson 6th man, Wemby Defensive Player, and Amin's your most improved as well. Anthony Edwards Clutch Player, and Kidd is your Coach of the Year. So overall, we do get LeBron and AD making All-NBA First Team, which is good, and here's your All-NBA Third Team, All-Defensive First Team with Anthony Davis making it, and All-Defensive Second Team. So we end up as a play-in team as the 7th seed in the West. If we take a look at the record, 47-35, which isn't terrible, but again, it does give you the 7th seed in the West. I do think we'll ultimately get into the playoff bracket, but it remains to be seen how we do once we're in there. So Anthony Davis 25, LeBron with 22, 14.5 from Reeves, and 12 from Dalton Connect. So let's go ahead and see how these play-in games go against the Kings to start things off. We got to win at home to hopefully get into the dance. So let's see if we can do just that. And we're going to get blown out on our home floor, which is just a disgusting feeling if I felt that as a Laker. I'm not a Lakers fan, but that would suck to see that. So now we're going to either draw Memphis or Houston, and it's going to be the Memphis Grizzlies. So we have to win at home just to get in. And if we do win, it looks like, I think if I saw correctly, we'd play the Dallas Mavericks, which is never easy to do. But it looks like we are going to blow out the Grizzlies at the very least. So we do get in. I think I would have liked it better. I mean, Minnesota or Dallas, make your pick. They're both tough to beat in 2K. And in real life, they would be obviously too as well. But we'll see if we can give the Mavericks a run for their money at all. I mean, I have my doubts here. So game 1 is going to go to them, 126-117. 2-0. 3-0. Yeah, this is probably what it would look like in real life. Honestly, I think the Lakers get in, and then they probably get swept, unless if they match up with a really good, maybe they match up well against a certain team and are able to beat them. But ultimately, I don't think they're going to be able to beat OKC. If Minnesota turns it up, Denver, Dallas, those are going to be tough teams to beat in the West. So this is probably where it would ultimately end up. So the Timberwolves go on to win the championship. Anthony Edwards is your finals MVP. So player retirements. LeBron James is going to call it a career, so we can override that one time. But I do wonder if we should just move on from him. Let's just say, screw it. I think he'll play another season, but maybe after this season decides against it, because LeBron has not looked the best, like his best self. So honestly, I'm going to call an audible here, and we're going to let him go. I'm going to move on from LeBron. We traded for Kyle Kuzma to try to make him happy. It didn't work. LeBron's going to call it a career. He got to play with his son. He achieved that. And ultimately, this is just not going to go anywhere. Now, I know he probably wouldn't want to go out sad like that, so maybe he would enter free agency and go somewhere else. But I'm going to let him go, man. I think it's time to move on. So we're going to do that today. I've tried to make it work with LeBron before in the other Lakers rebuilds. It just doesn't work out, man. So our pick is going somewhere, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, the Hawks have our pick from the DeJounte Murray trade, because the Pelicans had our pick and they traded it for DeJounte Murray. And then JJ Redick will remain the head coach for now. Let's head to draft night, and we have a clean slate. LeBron James is gone. We'll probably try to make it work with Anthony Davis, and then once it doesn't, probably going to have to do a full-on sell job here with most of the players. Connect will be a big part of what we do in the future. Reeves will probably stay here. I mean, we can maybe even trade him down the line. But ultimately, we're going to get back to probably, just being a young team again and not being a championship contender, because we're just not quite there. So Hood-Schifino is maybe going to get some opportunity eventually. Koloko will extend the offer on, and then free agency. I don't think we have cap space to do anything too crazy. So we do have a little bit of money to spend. So we're going to still try to be good this year, but I know it's going to inevitably fail. So Reeves and Hood-Schifino, Connect, Kuzma, Rui, and then Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis. So we ultimately need a good backup center, it looks like, for the most part. So I do like the idea of Nick Richards, who probably shouldn't even be here to begin with, but he is. So Richards as a backup center sounds good. So we are going to win him in free agency, which is nice. So that's a good start. And if Bruce Brown is still here, which he was a second ago, he's not. So Gary Payton or Tim Hardaway or Exum. But I do like the idea of Gary Trent. I think Gary Trent could be a nice addition here. So yeah, that'll be kind of the offseason we have. And then once this ultimately fails, which I think it will, I'll see you guys the deadline with some moves to be made. Probably going to trade Anthony Davis at the deadline. I think we're just going to full on give up here. So Christie is a 77 up, and Trent is up too. Hood-Schifino's up, so that's good. So some of the young players are developing, and Bronny James is still developing as well. So he might be a rotational piece in the future. I'm not sure. But I think it's been a long time since I've just fully torn down the Lakers. I don't think I've done that in a video lately. I've just tried to make it work with LeBron and AD, and it just doesn't, man. And ultimately never works in 2K. It just doesn't, unfortunately. So we do have to cut one player here. It won't be the preseason smiley guy. We're going to cut Isaiah Evans, I guess. All right, so, and did I just disconnect from the internet? I sure did. So I don't have internet right now for some reason. So, unless it, yeah. So I don't know what just happened. I think one of my children may have disconnected the router or something. I'm not sure, but we are back. So let's take a look at the lineup. So Reeves, Connect, Kuzma, Vanderbilt, Anthony Davis, Rui, Nick Richards, Gary Trent, Max Christie is your rotation. And we can also throw Hood-Schifino in here as well if we run a 10-man rotation. So we can do that. Parking has us 8th overall, so they're pretty high on us ultimately. So maybe this team is better than I expect. But if we are bad like I think we're going to be, you'll see me at the deadline trading Anthony Davis away. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So, and then maybe even Reeves and some other pieces off. We're probably just going to be a full-on sell job. I'm going to move Connect to an 80 shots and see because we're going to need some guys to score outside of LeBron, obviously. So Anthony Davis still needs to be the guy here, but we'll see how, let's see how the first week goes. So yeah, off to a horrid start, but maybe we turn things around. Ultimately, whatever we are at the deadline, which I think will probably end up being bad, Anthony Davis will be shipped off elsewhere, and we'll make sure we get good compensation for him because as you guys can see, as I kind of expected, we are not good at all. So as promised, we are making a trade at the deadline, and as you guys know, we haven't done it in quite some time, but when it comes to superstar trades, I make sure that superstar trades happen like they do in real life. Obviously, guys go for a lot when they're traded. Anthony Davis, no different. Damian Lillard and Anthony Davis from the same draft class, and Damian Lillard went for quite a bit. It could have been better, but still went for quite a bit. So Anthony Davis for Anthony Black, the Duke young center, 2 first-rounders, and then Isaac and KCP are technically just salary fillers. I would like for someone to be, I'd like for a different salary filler, but Isaac is fine too. So, yeah, this is what we're going to roll with. So this is going to be the trade we do with Orlando, and we're going to make that happen. So, we're going to make that happen. So just like that, Anthony Davis is going to Orlando to try to push them further into contention as we are 14-39 on the season. And that is the haul we're doing for Anthony Davis. So, we get quite a bit of compensation back, which is good. So we get Anthony Black, who's going to be a nice rotational piece going forward, might even be our starting point guard. We also obviously got the young center out of it. We have Hood-Schifino, who's going to be something. And then Isaac's contract, I do believe it's like non-guaranteed coming soon, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's not, but we probably won't keep him for much longer if I had to guess, in case if he was just salary filler. But hey, won a championship with the Lakers back then too, back in the bubble. So rest of the season, you got Reeves, Connect, Kuzma, Vanderbilt, Nick Richards. I mean, you could also trade Kyle Kuzma too right now if we wanted to. Now, Kuzma's not a superstar, so what is he doing for us on the season? Let's see. He's averaging, not great. So I don't think we'd get a ton for him, but I'm definitely still open to moving him if somebody wants his services. But let's see. So Cleveland, we'd have to trade Bronny to do this, and I'm not going to do that. So Max Strus, I don't want his contract anyway. Probably will just hang on to Kuzma more than likely, but Miami wants to give me Robinson in a first. Sure, we'll do that. So Kuzma will be shipped off as well. And that will be the rest of the season rotation. We're obviously going to end off the season really bad. I don't even think we have our draft pick, if I'm not mistaken. So we're not going to have that for us. But ultimately, we had to reset things because Anthony Davis, we got to trade him while his value is as still decent as possible. So Orlando, hopefully, we'll go win a championship with him. And we get, some young players to rebuild off of. My controller just started tweaking. I might keep that clip in, but it started just scrolling by itself. It's almost like it has stick drift, but it better not have stick drift. That's all I'll say. But obviously, we ended up being a bad team, and now we're, going to be in the lottery. Well, I don't even know if we have our pick. I'm pretty sure we don't, but Connect averaged 16 points per game this season. Let's see who goes on with the championship. And Orlando is going to get bounced around one after trading for Anthony Davis. That is something that would sting if that's what happened. Dallas goes on and win it all. And here are your retirements. So Brook Lopez is calling a career in Orlando. Durant's are calling it, and Harden and DeRozan are calling it as well. So pretty sure our pick is headed elsewhere if we do have our pick, which we do. Wow, I didn't even think we had our pick. And then we have the Phoenix pick from the Sun or the Magic trade. So what's gonna? Okay, well, this is beautiful. We have number 1 and number 8. So we actually stuck at number 1. There might be a little bit of rigging the lottery for the team, for the Lakers, right? That could That's definitely a possibility, but we already know who we're about to draft here. So without further ado, let's jump in and draft our boy AJ. Last video we had him, which I believe, which one was that? I can't remember. It was the Wizards video. He was terrific, man. He ended up being a great damn player for us. So hopefully we can kind of repeat that as well. Malik Thomas. Who do we want? Harrelson, Mikael Brown. I'll take Harrelson here. So Kansas guard. And that'll be our 2 picks. So AJ and Harrelson to kind of lead this Lakers future. I'm excited about it. So welcome both of you. Player options connect. Reeves is going to decline, which honestly, I'm actually okay with him entering free agency. KCP unfortunately accepts his $21 million. And then free agency. And then eventually, guys, which we don't have money for it yet, but eventually when we have money opened up, I'm probably going to let Reeves walk and Rui go, honestly. I'm just going to reset things here. But assuming we can clear out some more salary, like, I don't know, who else? Oh, Anthony Black. Ooh, he got extended. I didn't even notice that. So he's making $29 million. So I traded for a contract that was extended, but at the end of the day, probably would have re-signed him anyway, so no big deal. Hochefino is going to be his backup connect, and Gary Trent, who I signed, and KCP's salary obviously is nothing we're going to keep for the future. Christie and AJ, and then Vanderbilt, Isaac, and then we obviously got the Duke center, which... Maluwatch is how you say it, I believe, if I remember correctly. So we'll just continue with saying it that way. No one corrected me, I think, the last time I was talking about it. So, okay, this looks good. I'm rocking with this. Vanderbilt and Isaac, that's fine. So the only thing I think we really need is to sign a backup center, and we actually have quite a bit of money to spend, low-key. We actually have some free agency money, but I'm going to, keep it till next year, I think. That's probably the best way to go about this. So we get, like, Naz Reid. I did a nice little 2-year deal for like very cheap to be our backup center going forward. I'm actually more than okay with that. So let's see if he'll sign that. And he says no, that's a little too low. Sorry. Gafford. So let's go back to Naz Reid because I still think he'd be good. Hardenstein, I don't want to spend that much money on. So Naz Reid, I'm still going to try to sign to a nice deal. Let's go 12.5 and see if he accepts that. And he will. So we're going to renounce pretty much everybody here. We're renouncing Reeves and Rui. We're moving on from them. And we're just going with Naz Reid as our backup 5 for next year. So I think what we'll do is allow this next season to be kind of a developmental year. And then once more, even more salaries are even cleared up. So Anthony Black's up to an 85, connects 84. Malu watched up to an 80, which is great. Hochefino is up. But once we can get like, what other salaries on the book? Like Isaac's salary off the books. And then KCP salary will be gone. So yeah, obviously AJ is going to make quite a bit of money out of the draft. But Isaac, we can get him out of here. Vanderbilt's salary will be gone too, and he might accept that. I don't know, actually. So KCP will be fully gone, but we'll have cap space, and we're the Lakers, right? We're LA, so we can definitely attract free agents. So we'll be going into next year, probably free agency hunting, allow this young team to develop, although Anthony Black's contract will kick in, of course, as well, so that might hurt our salary a little bit. But ultimately, we're set up to turn this thing around fairly quickly. So here's the rotation for the season. It's Anthony Black, Dalton Connect, AJ, Vanderbilt, Maluwatch, Naz Reid, Hochefino, Max Christie, Gary Trent, and Jonathan Isaac. So Bronny James might eventually get in there. Harrelson's going to be a big part of the future as well, but he won't play this year. And then looking at shot tendencies once again. So Anthony Black's is a 58. I'm going to push it up to like a 68. Connects is an 86. AJ, I want to be very good right away. So I'm just going to push his shot tendency up through the roof. That way he just scores a ton. I'll push the center up as well. And I'll leave the rest the same. So we're going to simulate year 3, obviously with the expectations of being probably bad once again. But once we're in the free agency period and we have all these young players and all the money in the world to sign another player, we're going to be in a good standing. But I do want to also trade away some salary. So like Isaac, if we can trade him, which I'm just going to do right now. Let's just trade Jonathan Isaac right now. And that also might give Harrelson some opportunity to play this year. So we can get rid of Isaac's contract as soon as possible. I think that's the best way. So Strus... So you have to trade a first-round pick to do this. I would do this without a first. I'm not trading a first-round pick, but they want a first. So we'll look at something different because I want, Isaac's contract out of here, but I can't trade a first-round pick to do it. I think he's still a good enough player that I shouldn't have to attach a first to get him out of here. So Russ O'Neal, that's salary is filled. Jeremy Grant, is he? Nope, player option, not doing that. Draymond, player option, I assume, if I'm not mistaken, or is that just a straight-up expiring? Let's see. Nope, he's got extended. And the Wizards want him for just a couple of, I guess. If they want to absorb him, sure, why not? So we'll do that. That clears up all the salary we want. And now I'll see you guys at the end of the season. We'll be a bad team once again, but once we hit free agency and are able to sign a max free agent, we should be in a really good position come next season. But AJ does win Rookie of the Year, averaging 20 and 8, which is fantastic. But ultimately, what matters is, and he also makes an All-NBA third team in his rookie season, so he was incredible, which is awesome. But what matters is getting into this offseason, signing a max free agent and making sure we're contender next year, which is kind of weird to think about, but I do think it ultimately can line up that way, which is nice because you want to see LA, back in the mix. So I don't think we have a pick this offseason, unfortunately. So our pick is going to Utah. So we are going to give them a really good pick. It ends up being 7, so it could be worse, I guess. But and then do we have a pick from anybody? No, so no draft picks at all. So we are strictly going to be focused on free agency here. And I do think all the salary we want gone is gone, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be interesting to see what Vanderbilt does with his option. I'm low-key hoping he declines it, but I don't know if we'll get that lucky. So assistant GM will take the 2nd-round pick. It'll be Dusty Pickett, the welcome, and then option. So he actually declines it, so that's massive. And we can decline Hasselhoff as well. And then we have the center, and Dalton Knecht coming back. Obviously, Christie declines as well, so that frees up even more money. So yeah, we should have quite a bit of money if I had to guess about what we can do in free agency. Now, Hood-Schifino is a free agent, so that'll be interesting. But all right, let's take a look at what we got. So Anthony Black, Bronny James. I mean, Bronny could maybe step up into the backup point guard role this coming season. Harrelson's going to back up Connect this year. AJ is the small forward for now, but we can move him if we need to. And then center is looking good to me. So to me, the main positional need, obviously, as we can all see, is a forward. So if we can get a forward in free agency, like Giannis would be crazy. I kind of want someone a little bit younger we can build with. So we have Brandon Miller here. We have Jaren Jackson, Scoot Henderson, Jalen Green, Jalen Dern, Walker Kessler, Benedict Mathurin, RJ Barrett, Jabari Smith, Dyson Daniel Sohan, Mark Williams. Okay, so Belil is here as well. Clearly, the best forward that I kind of want is Brandon Miller. Clearly, I think Brandon Miller would be insane if we were able to get him off the Charlotte Hornets. Anthony Davis, we're not bringing back. Cat, we're not bringing in. And then Giannis is interesting as well, obviously, for, we could just go get Giannis Antetokounmpo and really accelerate things here. Him and AJ, I don't know much about AJ's game in real life, but what did he shoot from 3 this year? 33%. So I'm assuming he could only get better, obviously. So I'm assuming we have the money to go after Giannis. We do. So if we wanted Giannis Antetokounmpo in a Lakers uniform, we could make it happen. The Bucks are trying to get him back. The problem is, if we bring Giannis in, do we have enough to go win a championship next season? I mean, we kind of have a good center next to him as well, who can shoot a little bit. I don't hate the idea of it. I mean, we could go after Giannis, or we could try to go get like Brandon Miller, but obviously Brandon Miller would feel a little bit more unrealistic. I think Giannis is a more realistic approach. Jokic is also here that I just kind of ignored that as well, but Jokic would be crazy. I am going to go after Giannis because Milwaukee, it's not all sunshines and rainbows over there right now. So I do wonder if we could pry Giannis Antetokounmpo away from the Bucks, and we are going to be his number 1 offer. So I think Giannis feels the most realistic to do. So that is what we're going to do. Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be our big signing in free agency. And if I can find a way to keep, Hood-Schifino, that'd be great, which we can. So that's fantastic. So Giannis is going to be our free agency get, which is awesome. Obviously, you really can't be mad about that. We resign Hood-Schifino because I don't know if Bronny James will be ready, but he might. And we still have money to sign someone else as well. So Anthony Black, Hood-Schifino, Dalton Knecht, Harrelson, AJ, Giannis, and then Malu Watch and Naz Reid. And then we definitely need a backup forward. But other than that, we're looking good. So that's awesome. Harrelson is 6'7". So honestly, we could do is we can move Harrelson to small forward. He'll go up to 77. We can move Bronny is 6'2". What about Hood-Schifino? I believe, yeah, Hood-Schifino 6'5". So we can move him to shooting guard. Now you have Bronny, you have Anthony Black, you have Hood-Schifino, and then we can just sign a power forward as a backup, which could bring like Vanderbilt back. We can bring Kobe Brown in. Preferably a shooter if possible, but I don't know if that's here. Vanderbilt, no. Sadiq Bey, Torian Prince, a little bit older for my liking. Or we have Jamison Battle here. Okay. I guess we can go after him, who's a 26-year-old, 36% three-point shooter. Sure. We'll go after Jamison Battle to be our brand new get in free agency. And all right. That was what we kind of wanted. So AJ, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Malu Watch, Dalton Knecht, Anthony Black. This will be interesting to see how this works out. So already up to an 89, 88 Malu Watch, 87 Anthony Black, 85 Knecht, 82 Harrelson. I mean, and then Bronny James was clearly ready to play as well. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this shakes out. Obviously, with bringing in Giannis, the expectations are going to be even higher. But I think we have the roster around him to go win it all. So that is kind of the hope and approach going into, I think, year 4 at this point. So hopefully this works out the way we expect it to. And this will be the first time I can actually feel really good about the Lakers rebuild we've done. I feel like the last few Lakers rebuilds I've done, I've failed miserably. But we decided to pull the plug on AD and LeBron, gave up on it very early. which is something I haven't done in previous ones. But proficiency is 4-star pace and space. We could be a 4-star balance. So we can do a number of things here. But rotationally, if we go to a 9-man rotation, you have Anthony Black, Connect, AJ, Giannis, Maluwatch, Harrelson, Hood-Schifino, Naz Reid, and Bronny James. So Bronny James will carry on Bronny's legacy. So I'm excited. Hopefully this works out the way we expect it to, and we go on to have a very successful season with AJ and Giannis leading the way. So at the end of the season, Jokic wins MVP, Stokes is your Rookie of the Year, Nolan Troyer is your 6th man in a Warriors uniform, Wemby Defensive Player, and Darius is your Most Improved, and Wemby is your Clutch Player, and JB Bickerstaff Coach of the Year, and Dylan Shaw is your Executive. So here's your All-NBA first team, All-NBA second with Giannis and AJ both making it, which is great, and then All-NBA third team, All-Defensive first team, and All-Defensive second team. Giannis makes that as well. So we did all this to try to go win a championship as soon as possible. Even if we don't win this year, it's no big deal. AJ led the way with 21, 18 and 10 from Giannis, and 16 from Connect. 14 from Maluwatch with 9 rebounds, and then 14 from Harrelson and 12.5 from Anthony Black. But ultimately, this team has a chance and an opportunity to do it, which is great. So Utah has a really good team in their own right with Hardenstein, Carter Bryant, Cody Williams, VJ Edgecombe, Keontae George. So a really good team in Houston. Or sorry, did I say Houston? Utah, right? Similarly, current round against the Jazz, and we'll see if we can beat them. And we are going to be down 3-1, unfortunately. So I thought we'd have a really good chance to win this year, but maybe that will not be the case, unfortunately. So Hood-Schifino is going to start, I guess, in this game 5. Maybe we can find a way to come back in this series, but the Utah Jazz might have our number here, unfortunately. And it looks like, well, we might win this game. Nope. Ooh, nope. We're going to lose. Okay, so that's fine. You know what? It is what it is. Back to the drawing board. I don't think we'll do too much clearly this offseason. We'll run it back and just let the guys develop because we know we have a good foundation here. We have a good thing going. But yeah, losing in Utah that quickly definitely hurts a little bit. And get a new head coach as well. I mean, although JJ Redick has some really good grades, so let's just bring him back. So JJ Redick will come back, and we'll just go straight. Actually, let's look at our draft pick selection. So 19th overall from the AD trade. Just see what we get out of that. So it's going to be McKnight. Welcome to the team. We can accept all these, obviously, and then Dunk next free agent. I think Bronny will be a free agent too. So we'll resign Connect and Bronny, same draft class, bring them back. So that will be great. And then Naz Reid's a free agent, so we'll look into maybe resigning him as well if we can, or different center. It's Naz Reid. Let's just bring him back. So let's just bring back Naz Reid to another deal, and we'll have our rotation once again. So same team as last year, but, you know, guys should only get better. So AJ is going to get even better. Maluwatch is going to get even better. Anthony Black might get better. So, yeah, AJ's up to a 93. 90 Maluwatch. 88 Anthony Black. 86, 83, and 83 Bronny. Wow. So all this is looking good. And all this to say is we're running it back for another season. Hopefully this year things go a lot better. I will say, I noticed like halfway through the season, Giannis' shot tendency, which I pointed out at the beginning of the video. But yeah, his shot tendency was a 64. Why does that make sense, 2K? Fix it, please. Even though you're not watching this, fix the damn problem with that. That makes no sense. So 4.5 proficiency, and rotation's going to stay pretty much the same. So I'm excited. Let's take a look at shot tendencies and make sure Giannis' shot tendency don't go down. So it's going to be an 85 shot tendency, which we'll push up to a 90, and then AJ will obviously score the most. But all right. Somebody year 5, I think, at this point, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how the season goes and hopefully find ourselves as a top 3 seed again, maybe even the first seed. We can go on to bring a championship to the LA Lakers, hopefully. But at the end of the season, AJ gets MVP just like he did in the Wizards video, and hopefully we can have the same conclusion as we did in the Wizards video, as we also got Coach of the Year and Executive. So AJ All-NBA first team, and Giannis is alongside him as well, averaging 20.5, which is great. So I'm excited about that, but hopefully it ends up in a championship. So we do get the first seed in the West, and here we are end of the season stats. So this will be the final season regardless of what happens, but hopefully we get a championship. So 24-9, 20-9, and then 15-10. I mean, I don't see why this team couldn't get it done. We get Sacramento in round 1, who have Luka, Jalen Green, Micah, Bryson, Sabonis, Devin Carter, and Taylor Hendricks. So Luka Doncic early on never feels good, but hopefully we don't lose to Luka, and we're going to beat them. So we sweep Luka Doncic, and now we get to deal with the Warriors without Stephen Curry, but we do have Castle, Curry, Costanza, Kuminga, Malachi, and Garland off the bench of all people, and we are going to beat them in 5 as well. And now we get the Memphis Grizzlies, who have John Morant, Will Riley, Michael, Donnie Freeman, Zach Edey, Bane, and Lonzo. So tough team in front of us in Memphis here, but we are going to beat them in 5. So far, everything's sweat-free, but we do get Chicago that has the other 2026 prospect, and Cameron Boozer's having a terrific playoff run as well. How's our boy AJ doing in these playoffs? He's averaging 20. So obviously Giannis is helping him out. But regardless, game 1, 1-0 start. Game 2, 2-0. This is looking good so far, but they are going to maybe even the series, which they do. So it was looking good until we find ourselves in an even series, but hopefully we can win this game 5. We have a lead right now, but they're right on our ankles here. If we can hang on, we win, or we go up 3-2. Okay. We win game 6. Yes, we do. So just like that, we bring a championship to the Lakers. AJ is your finals MVP. He is an absolute cheat code. Just remind me to draft him in every video, and we'll probably win a championship. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'm so glad we're able to bring the Lakers a championship. But yeah, ultimately, this has been my favorite Lakers rebuild we've done in quite some time. So thank you all for watching. Have a great weekend. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.